Okay, so in this video, I am aiming to give you information about drag. What is drag? I'm trying to create a video series actually where the aim will be to create a multimodal drag. And why am I saying multimodal drag? Because usually people are right now focusing on drag, which only depends upon textual embedding. All right, so firstly, let's start with what RAG is. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and how it basically works is it will use your documents or resources that you already have with you, and the query that you give or the question that you ask, the answer which will be generated will be basically from the resources or the documents that you have already stored in your database. So what I'm trying to tell you is RAG is your chatbot, but this is a directed chatbot. So if let's say I ask ChatGPT some question, it will give me an answer without referring a particular document. But let's say I want to ask ChatGPT uh, a question, but I want it to answer only not on basis of the all the information that it has, but only on basis of the information that I'm providing right now. So in that case, I'll use RAG. Okay, so I think we guys are clear about what RAG is. And now let's move on. This is what functions that RAG uses in a pipeline. So first is loading, indexing, then comes storing, querying, retrieval, and answer. Now I'll give you a quick uh, go through of how this video series. Okay, so I'm planning to create a video series, and how it will work is first what I'll do is I'll try to in this particular video I'm trying to give you overview intro about what RAG is, and then uh, all the components of the RAG or the functionalities of the RAG, and then giving you a helicopter view on loading, indexing, storing, and querying. Okay, so giving you a helicopter view over these four functionalities or components of the RAG. And then in next video, what I'll try to do is I'll give you the overview of retrieval and answer, the other two components. And then also in that video, I'm trying to uh, give you a whole Python code about this RAG implementation. Probably we'll be using LlamaIndex because I'm quite familiar with LlamaIndex. Again, what is LlamaIndex and how it works and what all I'm speaking. If you're not able to understand right now about LlamaIndex, it's fine. As soon as we get to the next part of the video, I'll try to explain what LlamaIndex is and why are we using it. But right now, let's say we are assuming that we know something called as RAG, which is your directed question and answering bot, which will only give you answer of your question basis on basis of the document that you have provided. So this is the step that it will use loading. So what loading means basically is it will load all the resources that you have. So let's say videos, audios, texts. If it is a single modality and it is only a lexical or textual modality, it will only have PDFs or Word documents. But let's say you have a multimodal. What do you mean by multimodality? You have audios, you have videos, you have texts, everything as your resource, and you are asking questions and you want answers. But this answer should be uh, queried from all these resources that I've just mentioned, audio, video, and text. Then it will be audio, video, and text here. So it will be using multimodal RAG. But right now, I'm not going into a single modal RAG or multimodal RAG. Right now, we'll just understand how RAG works. What loading basically means is assuming that I have PDFs and music files in my folder. What I'll do is I'll try to get that into my Python environment. That is what loading is. To get object of what PDF and MP3 files I have in my folder, I'll try to get it into a Python environment and store it in some variables or something. All right. So that is what basically loading is. Now comes indexing. Indexing basically is the things which you have loaded, the resources which you have loaded. What you want to do is now you will be working on to convert this resources into a vector format. Why? Because you want a numerical representation of this resources that you are using, because machines don't understand what music file is or what text you are giving. They only understand what numerics or mathematics behind it is. And for that, you will need a numerical representation of your source. So what you are going to do is you will create a vector representation of the whole thing. And then this vector representation will be called as your embedding. Okay, next comes storing. In storing, what we are going to do is we will store this into a database which supports vector storage, because not all the database supports vector storage. So this is basically your special database which will be uh, handling your vector or like embeddings. All right, so it will be storing your embeddings. It will work as a normal database. It will store your data. It will create a table, store your data. But this data, the only special thing about this storing is the data which will be stored will be a vector format. So it will be your vector database. And querying is basically giving a prompt. All right, so that's pretty much it. Uh, Right now, here I'm giving you example using LlamaIndex, but don't worry, because only thing I want you to focus is this dot slash data. So what I'm doing is in this data folder, let's say in my root directory, I have a data folder. I am basically loading all the PDF and the music files, or like all the resources. Let's say I only have PDF files or Word file. I just load everything. All right. And then convert it into, or like store it into a variable called as document. So now I have uh, all the PDFs in a variable. All right. So that is what loading is. That's it. Indexing the data that you have loaded. So let's say I have 8 documents. All right. So basically there will be 8 nodes. Okay. So there will be 8 nodes, because there will be a list of each document which is in your environment. And then to convert indexing basically is to convert this into a vector representation. Okay. So I have shown here that indexing basically focuses on creating embeddings for your storage. You can create embeddings and then store it into your database. Now storage, as I told you, we will be using vector storage. Why? Because again, I'm using LlamaIndex because I don't want to explain you what LlamaIndex is and how it works, but right now let's see about vector storage. These are few of the databases. If you see, you may know Apache, you may know Astra, you may know there's also Redis, and uh, I think Lance TV I have worked with Lance TV and Quadrant. Quadrant. So I worked with these databases, these vector databases. But important part is this is not your normal database. This is your vector database, because it stores in a vector format. It stores your documents, music files, or anything in a vector format, embedding format. Now there is a whole lot algorithm which is working here, which basically converts your uh, PDF file, music file, or your resources into a vector format. And then we decide which algorithm to use, so that according to our use cases, so that we get embeddings. All right. Uh, and then comes query. Then comes query. I'll show you what query is. Querying basically, why I have mentioned query is, of course, it is like a chat GPT where you give a question or a doubt. But querying basically here is different because it uses a particular syntax. It uses a particular format, and you need to be specific about that format, because if you don't use that format, things may get messy. So in next video, I think we'll speak about retrievals and answers. Retrievals basically have retrieval engines, and these are because on basis of your query, it will go into your vector database, and inside your vector database, they will uh, retrieve answer, and they again use formulas or like algorithms like like they'll see the similarity score of this query and your uh, vector database storage or like indexes. So I think this is all for this video. I hope this video series gets completed. Thank you.